Don in London, hello. January 1st, 2010. My video's all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance of addiction was alcohol. Could be again if I were to slip, relapse, go back for some more research, find some conviviality or joy, or just drink my sorrows away. I don't have any sorrows this morning, and maybe that's partly because I am sober. One day, just for today, I hope. That's my hope, and I share experience, strength and hope about recovery on my videos. They follow the pattern of a fellowship, and that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous, and the pattern is to utilise 12 steps of action to help me make the best of what is in this one day. So those 12 steps of action help me with my attitude and behaviour towards living now, in the present moment. So all these videos so far, all of last year, and there are previous years archived somewhere, have been about how to live sober. So me, alcoholic in recovery, 35 years of drinking, addicted to the fear of life, I suspect, feeling less than, not quite sure, never quite sure of my place in life and who I am. So what did I do? I actually tried to be whatever I thought you thought I ought to be. So I lived to please other people, I lived to look right, I lived to fit in, I lived to drink a lot, because that's what people did around me, and I hung out with people who worked hard and drank hard and had relationships which were stormy, vivacious and probably short-lived, because there was nothing really deep inside me except a person struggling to get out, and probably awash with drink or in an ocean of drink. So what keeps me sober today? Well, family, friends, community all play their part in my life, and I play my part in their lives, hopefully. Just right size today. Nothing special except for this. Normal is extraordinary, or ordinary is extraordinary. And how to get sober? Well, those 12 steps of action, which I talked about just briefly, 12 steps of action for individuals to change attitude and behaviour and remain sober, in a fellowship which helped teach me how to live life all over again, because after 35 years of drinking there was not much left of me except a processor of alcohol. So AA, what is it, and what is the first step of recovery? AA, the statement of intent about what happens at meetings and what it's all about is this, and it takes only a few moments to read, and I read it every morning simply because it slows me down into the moment of now. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So every bone in my body, every fibre of my being, did not feel inclined to acknowledge my addiction, so I stayed in ignorance for a long time and in denial when I suddenly realised I couldn't stop. And there's nothing worse than having a house with no drink in it, and there's nothing worse than going to a party without any drink in it, and there's nothing worse for an alcoholic and no drink on the horizon, because we start to sweat and fear and get agitated and feel irritable and discontented. So my story into AA, well, I'm not a perfect example by any means, but I'm probably an absolute average example. I retaliated, I was rageful, I didn't like it. I used to sit at the back and make comments about why is that person speaking so long in a meeting, and going on and on and on and on, just like me here. So I'm going to stop going on about me just now and explain what helps me. In this book, 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, it discusses and illustrates what the 12 steps are about, and January for me is going to be all about step 1. So in this book, Daily Reflections, which I refer to very often, it starts with the first month and the first step. Daily Reflections is 30 pages, one a day, or 31 pages in January, all about recovery and what is step 1 and what's it like to stop drinking and find life again. So just a brief summary from the first step in here about how we feel about the first step of recovery. And the first step reads like this: we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. And it goes on to say, who cares to admit complete defeat? Practically no one, of course. Every natural instinct cries out against the idea of personal powerlessness. It is truly awful to admit that, glass in hand, we have warped our minds into such an obsession for destructive drinking that only an act of providence can remove it from us. No other kind of bankruptcy is like this one. Alcohol now becomes the rapacious creditor, bleeds us of all self-sufficiency and all will to resist its demands. Once this stark fact is accepted, our bankruptcy as going human concerns is complete. And you know what? It took me 35 years of drinking. It took me anger, denial, frustration, all those things to actually admit it that I was an alcoholic. Then acceptance of a way forward has been something on a daily basis for me. I go with the process of understanding my powerless over alcohol and what it means to me. It means if I don't drink, life gets manageable. If I do drink, life gets unmanageable. So if I stay away from a drink, by the minute, by the hour, by the day, that's as far as I need go. It's a 24-hour program to sort our feelings out on a daily basis. And if we've got our feelings in a sort of balance, even when they're slightly out of balance and we're angry, we've got somewhere to go and share about it. So all those people who used to go on and on and on in meetings, what are they talking about? They're talking about their feelings and how to stay with step 1 on a daily basis. Not to drink, and life becomes more manageable. It won't get manageable straight away. It takes a bit of time. And AA is a spiritual program, and spiritual for me is finding the truth of now. Simple as that. Every person on the planet is spiritual, and we're all having a spiritual experience of living in the moment, and it can be wonderful or detestable depending on what is happening around us, and we can only make it worse by drinking, or even better by not drinking. So the 1st of January in the Daily Reflections, this book, available from any AA meeting if it's got literature and can afford it, and it says, I am a miracle. Anybody who's a drinker can't stop and has a day off and intends maybe to have another day off is a miracle. It says, the central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator, or nature, has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish things for us which we could never do by ourselves, and for that it's about drinking. This truly is a fact in my life today, and a real miracle. I always believed in God. Well, I didn't, but I've got a shrewd idea what God could be for me, but could never put that belief meaningfully into my life. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I now trust and rely on God, as I understand Him, and it is our personal understanding, nobody else's. I am sober today because of that. Learning to trust and rely on God was something I could never do, or I could never have done alone. I now believe in miracles because I am one. And the gift of that is, for me, God is truth, just the truth of life. As many people have said, God is love and God works through people. So if I can find the truth, be with people who've got some experience, strength and hope, I've got a clue what I might do today. And there's a serenity prayer. To God, O good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference for me is just for today.